Hey, thanks for watching. This is Chris Meeks. This is my second video blog for school. I want to talk today about my digital identity. So I have a series of questions just going to recite and then I'm going to answer. And I promise to be brief on this. So the first question is, how is your digital identity different from your real world self? How is it the same? Um, So I would say my digital identity isn't too different from my real world identity, and the fact that I don't share a lot of my digital identity, but I do in my real life. So I guess that would be one major difference. How it's the same is the stuff that I tend to share tends to be about the things that interest me, like my conservative values, my faith, my about graphic design, other pictures, photographs, other things that I find interesting. I love to share and talk about my family, and that's probably the most important thing in my life. So I talk about that and share about that a lot. Like if you look at, Facebook has those little memory things for memory videos they put together, and it's typically always about my family. So, um, and that's what I'm all about in my real life too. So there's that. And I would say too, like I'm not on Twitter, I'm not on Instagram. I don't take pictures. Well, I do now take pictures of my food because I'm on a diet, and so I'm doing a lot of cooking. So I like to take pictures of the before and after because it's kind of fun cooking. But and I do share the digital things that I make when I'm doing graphic design. I share those as well. So that's how my digital identity is different and the same from my real world self. The second question is, how does technology enable you to more fully express a specific dimension of your identity? That's part A. So, well, given that I post mainly pictures about my family, and that's the aspect of my life that I share in social media with people, I'd say it's very effective, and at times it can often make me seem one-dimensional because I only care about the tend to only care about those things. But I do tend to throw some other things in the mix. Um, like even for example, if I want to start doing more graphic design, it gives me the ability to start posting all my graphics and all the different things I'm working on. Or if I start taking photographs of different things, it allows me to express that particular facet of myself. So I would say free social media today allows for a lot of freedom and the ability to express yourself in any way that you desire. Um, how does it influence, govern, or shape identity? I say there's positives and negatives to it. You can How does it influence, govern, or shape identity? I think that social media is full of political activism, so there's plenty of stuff to read there that can shape your opinion. And there's the whole aspect of fake news that's out there with these clickbait. Those can tend to shape the way you think in a bad way. I think it's hard to discern these days what is fake and what is real, and it takes a lot more research to figure that out. And so people that don't research things or look things up or delve further into topics can tend to come off as very ignorant and deceived because they just basically quote bylines, and that's kind of annoying. Um, I think too, you get to help shaping people's identity because when people post stuff and they post an ignorant article, you can kind of shed some light on it by posting other resources that give a countering opinion to that. So I have a lot of fun with that. Next question: how is your digital identity a product of the social and technological context in which you live? I take a lot of pictures. I post those. That's about the extent of it for me. I'll move on. how is your online identity like a performance? I don't think my online identity is a performance. I post about what's important to me and what's real to me, like my family, my friends. I don't post or even do a lot of things that's fake. Even when I take pictures of people, I hate when people pose and make a duck face and do all this stuff like to try and get that perfect picture. I'm not a big fan of that. Into the more visceral and real part of people. So that's why when I take pictures, I don't have people pose. I just take pictures of them living their life, and the hopes that that will express what I'm trying to get across, or express an aspect of them that other people don't see. I don't really. So again, I don't feel like my social life is a performance at all. But then again, I don't post a whole lot about just myself or about me, or I try not to be too narcissistic in my life. And I realize that could alienate people by me saying that, but if it offends you, I'm sorry. Next question: how is your behavior different when you know it is in public, or know it is public? I think this is great. The reference material talked about the Panetopian, I think it was the Panetopian effect, where people in prison would, if they knew there were cameras on them all the time or in certain places, they'd always act accordingly and act properly in those situations where they'd act according to the rules. And I think a lot of people do that, like even on social media. Like a lot of people may have certain values, but they won't post about them because they know the trolls and other people are going to come and bash them for it. I tend to be pretty conservative, but I don't post a lot of conservative stuff because most of my friends are progressives or liberals, so I just know they're going to pounce upon whatever I post. So in order to kind of not have to deal with a flood of insults or ignorant statements, I tend not to post about stuff like that. And I teach myself or with friends, or I talk about it face to face. I'm a huge fan of talking about things face to face instead of on social media. You want to have a conversation, cool, let's sit down, let's have it, let's work it out. And then we go back to the whole question of like ethics and morals. Like when you approach a stop sign and no one's there, do you run it or do you stop fully, wait 3 seconds and go? I think most people would wait, or would just go. So I think in the absence of cameras, the absence of being witnessed, I think people would tend to act a little different than they do in the public space. How does your digital identity affect your sense of who you are as a person? I don't feel that it does affect my sense of who I am as a person. I'm 36 years old. I'm pretty well established in who and what I am, and what I believe and how I dress and what I do with my time and what I don't do with my time, and all that developed pre-social media. So I would say for me it doesn't really affect my sense of who I am as a person. I think it's odd that people would be, that their digital identity would affect their sense of who they are as a person. Next question: effective sorry, that's not a question. But anyways, that's all my questions. Thank you for watching and listening. Hit like if you want, or subscribe. I don't know, I don't post a whole lot, but thanks for listening. And if you have any questions, you comment below. Thanks a lot. Bye.